The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
1420 Sports Bar Podcast. More beer than sports talk and a whole lot more. Join host Brent Radlitz as he bellies up to the bar and gets the conversation going that'll make you think you're sitting in your local watering room. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans. So sit back, grab a few beers, and let's get into it.
The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for beer, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Today's show, as always, is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420SEAT at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com for all their great articles and other great podcasts as well. And thank you to all those who listen to our show a couple times a week or watch up on YouTube or whatever it may be. You catch us and everything else. Well, been quite the week in the world of sports, even with the NHL not playing, the NFL, the Super Bowl being done, baseball's just getting rolling. So you would think there wouldn't be a whole bunch to talk about, but, well, turns out that there is. And I wasn't really sure if I should approach this or how to approach it or if I was going to approach this thing. But the Four Nations face-off, obviously, it's been a great hockey tournament. It's caught my eyeballs a lot more than I thought it was going to. The game, the Canada Sweden game, I think it was on Wednesday night, was fantastic. Lots of this high energy, high-paced hockey, and that's what we probably should be talking about. And we might get into that a little bit later on in the show today. But the thing is that obviously the national anthem debacle, the national anthem booing, the United States national anthem getting booed in Montreal. The last couple of games, the two games the Americans did play, the one against Finland, one against Canada last night. Obviously, there was the booing of the national anthem in response to Diaper Don's basic threats to Canada and to trying to annex our country, and the threats to the 51st state, basically disrespecting our country and disrespecting our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, by calling him a governor. It hasn't gone unnoticed by Canadians, and Canadians didn't take much appreciation of those things that the Orange Menace has been saying constantly over and over, and Canada took exception to it. The only thing that they could possibly do, and that was to have their own stage of protest, I guess, is one way you could say it, by booing the national anthem prior to the games. They did the Raptors game last week, then they did it obviously for the two hockey games that the Americans played. Let me get this straight. I don't like it. I personally don't like it, but I fully understand it. I don't think it should be booed, but I totally understand where Canadians are coming from. I totally understand where the people in Montreal are coming from, and I totally understand why they did it. It's a form of protest. It's a form of freedom of speech, and it's something that Americans so clamor for a lot, and they talk about a lot. And how you should be allowed to speak out against your government. You should be able to speak out against other things, until it goes against them. And that's one thing that I kind of been reading on Twitter the last 24 hours or even 48 hours since the first Boo Fest happened down over in Montreal when the Canadians played the Finns. And some Americans get it and some not so much. And that's the scary thing that I'll get to in half a minute here. But it's odd to think that us by Canadians having a form of protest by booing the national anthem, that there's people that are butthurt about this, and I don't understand why. I'm just thinking if the tides were turned a little bit, how Americans would react to if it was the other way around. If Canada was threatening, it's never going to happen. I know people are going to laugh at me. Yeah, we don't have a military. Yeah, blah blah blah. But if the tides were turned a little bit, and there were people making fun of Americans and people trying to take over the United States and threatening those kind of things, I'm sure there would be some kind of a backlash in the United States towards Canada or towards another country. Let me break into here a little bit of United States. We're already laughing at you. This is the first time you've heard it. That's the biggest thing. This is the first time you guys have ever been told that, hey, there's something wrong going on down there, and maybe you're finally listening. I'm going to get killed for this. And I have friends that are Americans. I love going down to the United States. I have a great time down there, but it was a great place to visit. If I get killed for this on the international stage of my podcast, well, so be it. But it's my beliefs about how I feel about how great my country is and how I feel that this has gone on long enough. It's crazy to think that this man has divided our countries your closest allies, your closest neighbors, obviously, people who've stuck with the Americans through thick and thin over the years, and then this guy comes in and starts saying stuff and it wasn't a one-off thing. The first time he said it, it was kind of funny, but now it's getting serious. And now it's time for us as Canadians to push back a little bit. I'm not saying start a war. I'm not saying start a fight. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's time for Canadians to say, okay, you know what? It was funny for a while until it's not, right? And sports and politics aren't supposed to go together, and they usually don't until they do. And this is one of those situations where I felt a need to say something on my podcast, because that's, it's not an obligation, but I feel it's just needed to be said in a certain way. It happens in sports bars right across the country. It happens in lounges. It happens at work environments. It happens in hair salons. It happens all over the place where people talk about this kind of stuff. And we can't ignore what's going on down in the United States with Diaper Don, the Orange Menace, the Mango, the Manchurian, whatever you want to call them. It's not a good thing. And he's divided our country. Like, imagine what you'd have, just think what you have to do to piss off a Canadian, and to piss off a large number of Canadians, to piss off millions of Canadians. It's pretty tough to do. And for us to do anything to anybody, I mean, we say sorry, we step on someone's toe. If we don't hold the door for somebody, we're saying sorry to people. So imagine what this guy was able to accomplish in a couple of weeks, taking over as president, what he's been able to accomplish by dividing our great countries and our great relationship. And this isn't a new thing. I mean, it is a new thing. It's something we haven't gotten around to, but it's kind of been growing for quite some time. And now that Tickle Me Elmo and Diaper Don are dividing people like I've never seen before, and lying all the time, and causing this separation, and you just wonder for what. It's crazy to think how this has gone on for the last few weeks, and nobody's really said anything. And now that we're getting a bunch of blowback from Americans. And I'd say, if the tides were turned, like I said earlier, what would you guys do? What do you expect Canadians to do when we're posed with this kind of a situation? It's not normal. It's not normal for this to be happening. And you think about this, the U.S. trying to annex Canada and saying that they're going to be taking us over. We'll be the 51st state and getting rid of Canada. Just think what happened in Ukraine. I mean, people have their thoughts about that, but you look at what happened there, and it's scary to think that this is actually a thing. Like, it's scary to think that this could actually happen. I don't think it will with Canada, but to think about other countries that the Americans are trying to take over. And it reminds me of, and you hate to, maybe I won't say, but it reminds me of Hitler and how he started taking things over back before World War II. Like, all these threats are funny, and these comments are funny until it's against you. And it was like the first term was holy cow, ha ha ha, and now it's like this is getting because it's more personal now with Trump and the rest of them. It's scary to think this is happening, and for Canada and Canadians in general to be sticking up for themselves. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing that anthem was booed. I don't agree with it, but we had to do something. We have to say something to stand up for ourselves. All this BS he was talking about, fentanyl going into the United States from Canada, it has to go through a U.S. border to get to Canada, to get to the United States. That's going through your people. Okay, it's not going through a Canadian border to get to the United States. Canada doesn't have the fentanyl export system that you think we do. We don't. There was very little fentanyl ever seized at the border. Actually, more comes in to Canada than from the United States. It goes the other way. Like, it's crazy to think that this guy is able to just lie and do whatever he wants. And I get concerned that you read things about what's going on in Canada from Americans. I'm like, it's not even true. And then for him to say that our healthcare would be better, there's no one's ever gone broke from getting healthcare in Canada, ever. It's not a thing. Like, for him to basically be lying, and people don't understand what's going on in Canada, for Americans to just be making stuff up for things that the Mango Menace says on a daily basis, and then you guys get a little bit butthurt because Canadians bite back a little bit because Canadians boo your national anthem. Like, it's I think it's warranted. It's a form of protest, peaceful protest. Maybe you guys should take a bit of a note, a page out of our book. Not like that crap on January 6th. He pardoned all those guys. You see what's happening with those guys getting let out of jail. What a portion of them has happened. They're already back in jail again. Like this, the peaceful protest that we had is a little bit of booing. A lot of Canadians have stopped buying, and I'm one of them. I've stopped buying American goods, and I know people don't care. There's gonna be a lot of people who say, "Well, good for you. You're a loser." Blah blah blah. Leave or don't come down. Okay, all right. I'm good. Like I've been shopping more Canadian stuff. I'm a proud Canadian. I always have been, always will be. My dad said years ago that when you're born in Canada, you've won the lottery, and I believe that more and more every day. For this guy to be flapping his gums and saying he wants to take over Canada, make us the 51st state, and on it goes, making fun of our prime minister by calling him a governor, it's just not right. If the tides were turned, it'd be way worse. Americans would be up in arms right now if the tides were turned. So what we are doing is actually kind of pretty tame in all things considered. And for it to cross over to the world of sports, it was bound to. Like, in just the way that this is all played out. And like I said, I didn't have much interest in that hockey game last Saturday when they were talking about it. And then all of a sudden it's come to last night, at the time of this recording, that I was fully invested. I had my Team Canada jersey on, something I didn't think I was going to do. I'm pro-Canadian, true north, strong and free. I love my country. I don't agree with the booing. I wish there was some other way we could protest, but in front of the biggest stage that we got right now, it gets a lot of eyeballs and earballs on it, right? Probably the biggest watch hockey game in a long time was last night against the Americans. It was a decent hockey game. Like the three fights to start the game off, and the way the crowd was into it. Obviously, it was a lot of fun to watch. I wish we could just talk about the world of sports. But sometimes life gets real. And they got really real the last few weeks. And here's one more for you, Donnie. It's not ice hockey. That just goes to show that you have no idea what you're talking about. You should just shut your yap when it comes to anything to do with Canada. Last week when you're doing you're flapping your gums before the Super Bowl, talking about how you love Canada and how you love ice hockey. It's just hockey. Shut up. And then you talk about Wayne Gretzky. Give you a little hint. It's not a surprise Gretzky hasn't been invited to this Four Nations face-off thing to drop a ceremonial first puck or anything. It's not a surprise. And you can't say it's because he's working for TNT and he's busy. If he'd drop it out of a hat, he would be there doing this if he was invited. So take that diaper, Don. Take that, Orange Menace. Like it's Gretzky's not very well liked, and it's because of you. It's because of you, Trump. But this whole thing with how it's all gone about, it's scary to think that it's happening. You look at what the events are happening over in the Ukraine with Russia, and how Russia hasn't been allowed to participate in international sporting events for quite some time. Americans better get a big wake up call. It could happen to you guys too. 1 year from now, who knows? Who knows with all these threats and things that Trump is talking about, and all these trade deals, and it might happen to you where your athletes aren't allowed to participate in the Olympics, where your athletes aren't allowed to participate in certain international events. It's the exact same thing that Putin did to the Ukraine. It's what Trump is actually talking about. And that's scary. It's scary to think. If it happens, I don't think it will. But this is stuff that he's talking about, that him and that Elon Musk are talking about, and the things that they're doing right in front of our faces. And if Canadians boo that, that's not a bad thing. Americans should be booing their own president as well. What is going on and what he has said about our country, and then talking to Ted Cruz, talking about Greenland, how everything's for sale. No, it's not. It's not how things work. We're Canadians. We're proud people. We used to have a great partnership with you guys. In fact, Trump's the one who re-signed that deal in 2017, the free trade agreement. Now he wants to bust it. This great deal maker, he's the one who signed the freaking thing. It's astonishing that people are on both sides of the border are acting this way. And there's Canadian people too who are saying, that wouldn't be the worst idea. I love America. I hate Trudeau. Blah blah blah. I'm not the biggest Trudeau fan. I'll full disclosure. But I don't know anything he's done bad. I really don't. Like I don't know. Maybe I don't pay attention enough. I got blinders on when it comes to stuff. But in general, my life's pretty good. Any hardships that I have are because of me, not because of my government. It's crazy, and you hear people dismantling Justin Pierre-Elliott Trudeau. He's the other one. You hear people dismantling Trudeau down there, and then they got their guy right in front of their face. You're like, what the hell is going on here? Like, why are we talking about Trudeau going skiing You're like, why are we so obsessed with what Trudeau has done, or what Americans think that Trudeau is doing to our country? I live here. I don't see him doing anything wrong. I really don't. The carbon tax isn't the worst thing in the world. You pay into it, you get it back. As long as you're not wrecking the environment. Is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? What Trump is doing right now is bad. It's that simple. It's actually that simple. It's not good. The way he's treating other countries, not just Canada, Greenland. He's threatening countries in Europe. He's threatened Mexico. He's Panama. And he's only 3-4 weeks into this thing. It's not a good look. And for people to be saying that it's a bad look for Canada to be booing the national anthem at our national sporting event, for like the Four Nations face-off, for people to be saying that's bad, what's worse? Everything that guy's doing is worse. It's pretty simple. We're not booing the hockey players. We're not booing the people who live down there. We're booing one person for what he's done, and maybe a group of people who voted him in. I don't know. I don't know. Am I going to get killed for this? Probably. Are people going to be upset with me? Probably. The people who agree with me? Hope so. Like I said earlier, I have American friends. I have good podcast buddies. I do one with Aaron every week. Me and Jim Fan, the band, we talk all the time together about things, you know. Sometimes stuff gets real. Are they Trump voters? I don't know. Don't know. You know, but like sometimes you have to talk about this stuff because it gets real. And it got real in Montreal this week. And now people are finally opening their eyes about what's going on. And I think it's a good thing. Will there be backlash forever? Yeah. Backlash to what I'm saying here, guaranteed. There's Canadian Trumpers too. I don't understand how, don't understand why, but there are. I don't agree with them. I usually don't say a word. But I think this week with the events that have been happening and everything else and I have a platform to do it, yeah, people are going to get me killed because I only got 380 some subscribers on my YouTube channel. We got X amount of listeners on the podcast side as well, right? People are going to make fun of me. Like, who's this guy? Who's his voice? Everybody has a voice. And those voices were heard in Montreal this week. And not in a bad way. I don't think anybody can disagree with what was being done. I know there are people, but they got to take a step back and open their eyes and look. Because it's a bad look right now, what Trump's doing and how he's divided countries. How he's put with his rhetoric and his lunacy and his craziness and everything else that he's talked about in regards to Canada in the last while. He did it again during the week, and he did it again last Sunday Super Bowl. He does it all the time. Like, you wonder if he even knows what he's saying now half the time. Like, you don't even know, because to like I said earlier, to get Canadians mad, you gotta really put an effort in, and he did. He made Canadians mad, and he made Canadians open up their eyes, and he brought us closer together. Yeah, the outcome of the hockey game wasn't what I wanted last night, and it wasn't what millions of Canadians watching last night wanted. But at the end of the day, it was just a game. It was just fun. And Donald Trump made it political. Canadians didn't. Trump started it, and we're trying to end it. And it's unfortunate. It's got to this point, but it's bound to happen. Will I go down to the States again? Not as far as and this isn't a shot. This isn't a shot to my friends and people that I know down there or anything. I just have no interest in supporting that man. I'm not going down to the States for quite some time. I'm going to miss going to Yankee games. I am. Like, I'm going to miss going to different things in the States. But this guy, he's divided us. And it was shown last night. There'll be some pushback in Boston when Canada plays there next week. Hopefully, let's play there tomorrow, and hopefully in the final of the Four Nations face-off, hopefully Canada can get in there with a win tomorrow against Finland. But they'll be boo back for sure. Maybe it's just a boo fest. That's it. Who knows? Will anything come of this? I don't know. I hope it doesn't. Like, I hope this all gets put to rest soon. But until the Orange Menace, the Mango Manchurian, whatever you want to call him, Diaper Don, until he stops with this stupid 51st state rhetoric, I'm out. I'm out. And it's sad because like I said, I love that country. I have a great time down there. I love being Canadian more. I love going down and visiting, having a good time. They got it. Disneyland, the Yankees, they got it all. They got it all. They also got one thing that's tearing people apart, and that's Donnie Trump. FAFO, right, Donnie? And it's not a good look. It's not a good look. And it's too bad that it has to come to this. And I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. There's people all the time. I'm in the grocery store almost every other day. I don't know why I don't just get more at once, but whatever. Like people are shopping more Canadian now. They're more aware of things. You know, it's bad, and it's two countries that had such a strong relationship for such a long time, and then this guy just comes in and starts flapping his gums, thinks it's funny, and other people think it's funny. If the tides were turned, U.S., what would you do? Something tells you to be doing a lot more than just booing. You'd be doing a lot more than just booing. You know, look what you did to your own country on January 6th. Look what you did there. It's a lot more than booing. Don't point your finger at us. Your guy did this. And it's too bad. Hopefully I don't lose all my podcast friends. I hope I don't lose the friendships that I've gained and everything else. But it's just something I wanted to get off my chest. Something I wanted to be safe for a long time. And it was first time around the Trump stratosphere was funny, but now it's not, because now it's personal. Now it's on us. You know, now it's on Canadians right from coast to coast. Well, coast to coast to coast. We got three of them. It's the Gulf of Mexico, by the way, Don. Idiot. Like plastic straws. Imploding. Paper straws don't implode. Or explode, sorry. They don't explode. When you suck things but implode, you moron. Yeah, I don't know. It's too bad. Like I said, it's too bad. It's just, you just wonder like, why and how it got to this point. And booing right now, United States, having your national anthem booed is probably the least of your worries. If you really want to put it in perspective, it's the least of your worries. And you got to think how it got to this point. It wasn't because of us. It was not because of us. We're the nicest people on the planet. The nicest. Think about how we got here. Pretty simple. One guy did it. It's not about the hockey players. It's not about the sport. It's about one guy and what he's been allowed to do. And it's disgusting. Anyways, so that's the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 Beer Sports talking a whole lot more. I didn't get the 4 beer today, but it's just I want to get off my chest a little bit. Like I said, I hope I didn't piss off too many people on either side of the border with my thoughts, but they're mine. I'm allowed to have them, just like you're allowed to have yours. I'm not saying you're a bad person if you're a Trump follower. I'm just saying maybe you're a little misinformed. I'm misinformed. I don't know everything. Like, I don't know everything. I really don't. I don't pretend to. I just know what's right and wrong. I think that's what it comes down to. I mean, like, do I know everything about my country? Nope. Do I know everything about that country? Nope. Wish I could keep it that way. But this guy infiltrates everybody's life with his rhetoric, and it's awful. It's disgusting, and it's for lack of a better term, it's really, really childish and shitty. You got your country booed, Donnie. This is on you, man. This is all on you. And it's hockey, not ice hockey, moron. Anyways, that's it. Well, so I'm going to do it like we had a holiday Monday tomorrow, family, so I'll get on a more a light show tomorrow and talk about the ins and outs of the baseball spring training, what's going on with the New York Yankees, and my thoughts on some of the signings. Hey, it's actually it's nice to be talking Yankees, maybe Red Sox rivalry this year, because that little prick Bregman signed with the Red Sox. So that rivalry with the Yankees and the Red Sox is probably renewed a little bit, in my eyes anyway. So anyways, that's it. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 Beer Sports talking a whole lot more. Brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420SEAT at SeatGeek.com today. Save us $20 on your first purchase. Have a great day, folks. Just take what you want. When I say with a grain of salt, and hopefully you keep listening, and hopefully you stick around, because it's just had to get something off my chest. It doesn't happen very often. In the 4.5 years I've been doing this, that's the first full political show I ever did. I didn't think we'd get to it, but like I said earlier, when hockey and politics and sports and politics aren't supposed to mix until they do. Anyways, that's it for today. Have you guys have a great day, and remember, it doesn't matter where you are, it's who you're with, and we will talk to you tomorrow afternoon. Have a good day.